Yo, I got knowledge that I get of my people, whether they black, African, Asian, Indian, Caucasian, Puerto Rican, Latin. Man or woman, know what's happening. The answer is knowledge itself. But who's asking? It's love that I get of my people.
Mic check, mic check. What's kicking, family? I'm glad you've clicked in so I could check in with you. So look, let's get this out of the way. Look, I'm just A-Rodded out. I mean, hey, ever since last week, this has been a runaway train, an avalanche, a solar and lunar eclipse. Because you know why I say solar and lunar eclipse? Check this out. The Grammys, which happened over this past weekend, was a very great event. I enjoyed it. It was a who's who. Look, the Grammys was the equivalent of, let's say, the World Series, Super Bowl, NHL Finals, and the basketball finals all rolled into one, because anybody and everybody who's in and who's prominent in music industry is there. And speaking of music industry and who was there, you know who wasn't there? Chris Brown and Rihanna. Right. With this whole A Rod thing, it has overshadowed and eclipsed an allegation that Chris Brown had assaulted a female. And the question is they're wondering if it was Rihanna, because Rihanna didn't show up either at the Grammys due to her performance. Chris Brown's and Rihanna's performance was negated and thrown out due to the fact that they were unable to attend the Grammys. And the news report came out that he had to report to the police department for an alleged altercation. Rihanna had to go to the hospital because she got hurt somehow, but they won't say whether or not it was Chris Brown or not. See, the A-Rod thing overshadowed that. And on top of that, speaking of a sports personality, Jamal Anderson, ESPN analyst and former running back for the Atlanta Falcons, was arrested recently on minor possession of cocaine and a minor possession of marijuana. Now, wow, see, look, A-Rod has overshadowed all this stuff unless you look for that, because everybody is talking about the A-Rod thing. My thing is, besides A-Rod, what's going on with Jamal Anderson, Rihanna, and Chris Brown? Now, those are also people who are prominent in the media in their respective fields. You know, Chris Brown and Rihanna for music, and Jamal Anderson as an analyst for ESPN for their football coverage. What's going to happen? We already know Charles Barkley lost his favorite 5 endorsement with T-Mobile. Michael Phelps just lost his Kellogg's Cornflakes endorsement, you know. So, that being said, when we look at A-Rod, what kind of endorsements is he going to lose? He didn't have too many anyway. He already had mountains and mountains of money anyway to begin with. So, there was no endorsements for him to lose. Wow. There's a lot going on. I'm A-Rodded out. I'm serious, folks. But let's try and wrap all this stuff up. What kind of, I want to watch to see what kind of legal stuff is going to come out, because the 100 and some odd ball players who had tested positive, their names have not come out. The big fish came out, which was A-Rod. Now, those records were sealed, which means somebody leaked that to Sports Illustrated, and the story came out. So what's going to happen next? Is a judge going to further on down the line unseal that document in order to let us know who all the other 100 some odd ball players were that tested positive? What's going to go on with that? Are we going to know about that, or are we just going to want to, look for the big fish, because ain't nobody want to talk about the little minnow? If you catch that giant fish, everybody's like, wow, that was a big one you got. So A-Rod is putting this to bed now, which was a good PR move. Then on top of this, a lot of these sports pundits and the people who are on the radio, these talk show hosts and whatnot, and some of these sports callers who are calling in, I'm listening and I'm watching on the sports and the news, they were saying he wasn't quite remorseful enough, contrite. What do you want the guy to do? You want the guy to beg on, come crawling on hands, oh, please, whip me, I am sorry. Look, first of all, they were blasting him, and they said that he should come out and come clean. Okay, he came out, he apologized. It still wasn't enough. Man, come on. What they need to do is not worry about whether or not he was contrite, or is that a correct word? Hopefully I'm correct with that. If not, somebody, email me the correct answer for that. But he may to show remorse. Maybe he's that kind of person who really doesn't get that emotional or something like that for people to see that, but he did make the attempt because they were killing him for not saying nothing. Now he said something, they're still killing him. What do you want? Guess what? What y'all need to worry about is getting the message out to the youth, is to get the message out to the professional ball players. Because right now, if I'm correct, I had heard one of the reporters say that this reporter works for MLB baseball, which I heard on a late night talk show, and he is just not too far removed from playing baseball. And he had told the host that night that, you know, he didn't hit no home runs, but he was tested on a regular basis. You know, they came up. He said they could come up in the off season and test you, which is a good thing, which means that right now the testing is at a point now where they're going to weed you out. But guess what? The public really doesn't know that. All they know is that these guys keep popping up. So what I'm saying is to get the word out to the youth up in high school and whatnot, those getting ready to make the transition from high school to college, to see if they can get that edge to get to the big leagues, the professional ranks in any sport. You gotta tell them the dangers. You gotta, you know, tell them what's wrong. Look at Lyle Alzado. There was also superstar Billy Graham, the wrestler. You know, there are definitely some people out there who use the steroids to get that edge, that advantage in their particular sport. And look what happened to them after they had retired and finished in that sport. They had met an early demise due to the ravages of the steroids and other performance-enhancing drugs. Even President Obama has something to say about this. Now, this is unprecedented. It's reached a certain level now where the President of the United States is chiming in. Well, this president here seems to be pretty proactive and in touch and has the pulse of the people as far as what we do as Americans in our everyday life, which is a key thing. And I'm glad he jumped on this because he let it be known. Look, man, you know, you could sully your career for the rest of your life. Even though you will no longer use the performance-enhancing drugs, you will still carry that stigma, that scarlet letter. And I commend President Obama in his weekly radio address to come out and address that. And on that note, I'm Mr. Batch. Let's get the message out there that, you know, you don't need this to get an edge. Natural ability can get you there. And you've seen a couple of these guys, pro baseball players, who did the steroids when they first came in the league. They had the natural ability already. And also, if you happen to take a look at the all-time home run or slugging list or something like that, how many names from the Mitchell Report are on that list? This is Mr. Batch. Peace.
Love that I get of my people, whether they black, African, Asian, Indian, Caucasian, Puerto Rico, Latin, man or woman, know what's happening. The answer is knowledge itself. I tell these kids put down the guns and blunt and pick up a book. The media got you shook, betraying all of us like cousins and crooks. So most of them shook to take a look in the mirror and see the crooked image of the face the wickedness took. Giving the truth is just an educated brother from the east side of Buffalo, revolutionary searching for change. With a pocket full of change, a better weight around my neck like a chain, but never refrain from planting seeds in your brain. Then you know I'm the new black superhero here, delete the people from destruction with something that's constructive and no boss lethal is true.